Hey guys, what's good? Aka here. In today's episode, we talk about mana. This might sound boring at first, but I promise you won't regret watching this video. So stay tuned. Other than usual, we start with 3 gameplay clips. All I want is that you pay attention to the mana bars on the screen. As Resto Druid, we're losing our first mana percentage with the pre-hotting stuff, and enemy paladins obviously full mana whenever the arena starts. Next clip is somewhere in the middle of the game. I'm around 50% mana, enemy paladin having a big mana advantage with 10 to 20%, most of the time because Pala's mana regen in Arena is really good. And in the last clip, you can see us winning the game, even if it's really close, because the Paladin went out of mana, and I still got round about 30% mana. So, okay, how did it happen? Especially in 2v2 scenarios of healer DPS versus healer DPS, there might be a point in time where you will win by default if you are the healer that has more mana left. As Resto Druid, that is generally bad right now, because our HOTS don't have time to heal in the current burst meta, which means we have to cast Regrowth a lot so that we're losing mana really fast. To counter that, we're making use out of consumables, usually cold water, can also be milk or whatever. If you wonder where you get that water that is usable in Arena, you can get it from the Oribus Innkeeper or the Innkeeper of a Covenant. Just make sure it only restores mana and not HP, and it is the one that restores 40k mana. In this section, we're talking about when and how to drink. First of all, you can't drink while being in combat, making Night Elves a really OP race, having the Shadow Melt, which instantly gets you out of combat. If you're not a Night Elf, don't worry. A few seconds after not healing someone in combat, or dealing damage, or getting damaged, you will leave combat automatically. This means pillars are usually your friends whenever you search for opportunities to drink, so nobody can stop you from drinking, and you basically hide behind them. Here comes our insane mobility use, so you can either use it to kite away and drink, or drink and then get back into the combat fast with your mobility. No matter what, you gotta make sure your teammate won't die. This will be the easiest when one of the following 3 scenarios is in place. Your teammate still has defensive abilities and will survive on his own. Enemies have no burst window, or you have enough cities to help out when you're going back into the fight. When you figured out how and when to drink in Arena, there's 2 more tips I have for you. There's some small but cool adjustments you're able to do. First one is you can do all of it in stealth. The usefulness of this depends on the IQ of your enemies, but you never know. Whenever you start drinking, you can enter Prowl, and as long as you're not moving, your mana will be restored, even in cat form. The other one is that there are some abilities you can use without entering combat to help your teammates. Best or most useful examples being Root and Vortex. In the clips you can see I used the ability and I'm still able to drink. So might be a useful thing to know. If you made it to this section, don't worry. The boring but important stuff will be over soon. In this part, I want to talk some seconds about general mana management and make aware of the most common mistakes that let you lose mana fast. As harsh as this sounds, your damage coming from your humanoid form, so Sunfire, Moonfire, and Wrath, are kinda useless for the massive amounts of mana they cost. Whenever you're in a kill window of the enemy team, yeah, sure, go for it, use them. But especially to keep these both dots up that usually get dispelled anyways, it's just not worth it. Don't do it. Try some games without them and see how much more mana you will have to actually heal. Your main damage, depending on the encounter, will come from the PvP Talent Thorns versus melees, and sometimes our bleeds of the Feral Affinity in situations that allow us to play with that instead of Guardian Affinity. Yeah, sadly, we're not Resto Shamans, Disc Priest, or Holy Palace with insane amounts of damage, but at least we're the best class at drinking, and we try to force that default win with more mana. And finally, I want to talk about Innervate. This is a really important spell for your mana management. So there are 2 situations where you want to use it, even with enough mana, right? Okay, first one is for some reason your active HOTS on the main target ran out. Usually the reason here is because you got CC'd, stunned, feared, whatever, you know? And the second one being a situation of heavy but steady damage that require multiple regrowths to outheal it. Both of these situations require a lot of mana, so don't fear using Innervate for this. Innervate is such an important spell to not go early on in the game. Okay, that's it. I hope you guys learned something. If you did, leave a like and a sub, and I see you in the next EP.